Hello, hello, hello. My name is InfinityGene, and yes, that is a burger waving at us, but it's also going to spit pickles at us. Yes, this game is really wacky. Look, there's a green kiwi walking around. Kaboom! Anyway, moving on. Hello, my name is InfinityGene, and welcome to Jumping Flash 2, Big Trouble in Little Moo.
Jumping Flash 2, Big Trouble in Little Moo.
Maybe I should have timed that better, but never mind. Anyway, we're going to get straight into it in a moment. But yeah, going to be doing Jumping Flash 2 any percent, which involves going through all 6 worlds as we control the beloved Robert, who is essentially like the sort of, I guess, the rabbit police in this game. Everything's rabbit-shaped in this, I suppose. To stop the evil Captain Kabuki that you can see waving their arms, flailing them in the air down in the bottom right. But without further ado, we're going to get started in 3, 2, 1, go. So, what is Jumping Flash 2 all about? Well, it's the direct sequel to Jumping Flash 1, which is also known as the very first full 3D platformer ever. So basically, you've seen like 3D platformers before, but you've never seen like a full 3D platformer at the time until now. So pretty much, the reason why this game's frame rate is so low is because the whole game is pretty much rendered in 3D. Even the bullets are 3D as well, which is just quite unique. So it is a very special game, not just to PlayStation history, but it's a very special game in my heart, this game. It's one of my very first speedruns, but it's also one of the games that I remember playing a lot of on the demo discs.
Excellent.
As we finish the first level. But yeah, this game has a lot of memories for me. I used to grind out the demos of these games so much, and this game just brings a smile to my face. But yeah, with that sub-story over and done with, we're going to talk about the game mechanics. So, the way we play this game is by jumping around, as you may have probably guessed by now. We can jump up to 3 times by doing a single jump and then using 2 boost jumps, which can elevate us to greater heights or greater distances. For example, we can delay our jumps to do long jumps here, and in some cases we may want to max out the gauge on the right there to do some high jumps. At times we may not jump, we may just like let ourselves fall down just to help out, just because we need to get down as quickly as we can, as staying in the air for too long wastes time. So that's why you can see me just sometimes falling down like that. Got to be careful not to do it too much though, because you might accidentally fall off the map. As you see that paragliding kiwi there that we saw earlier. So now we've got all the moo-moos, and I'll explain what the moo-moos are. They're essentially our keys for the level. We need all 4 of them to open up the exit, which we're hopefully going to land on. Ooh, we just got like a toe basically on the exit then. That's how close it was. Otherwise we'd have to just jump up quickly. It wastes 1 second if we have to do that, but we don't want to do that, of course. It's a speed run. But yeah, we're going to get into the first boss fight, and this is where I can talk about some of the combat as we go against the Robo Shark. So we're going to be holding down square as our main cannon weapon, but our secondary weapons include jumping on the boss, and also using our sub-weapons that we've been collecting. Now, we're going to hopefully get this boss. Nice. So that boss was about to do a charge attack, which would disappear off the screen for a few seconds.
Excellent.
So that was an excellent boss fight. So ideally with this boss fight here, we'd want it to do like a rocket attack. But thankfully we killed it just before it was about to do this other attack we didn't want it to do. And with that, that's the first world done. So pretty much each world, excluding the final world, will include 2 stages and then 1 boss, pretty much. So, and we're moving on to world 2 already. So as I mentioned, there's multiple attacks. We can hold down square for the cannon, circle for special weapons, jumping as an attack as well. We're going to reset the level every time we get into a new world. That reduces our life count by 1, but it restores our cherry bomb in the top left. And that'll be useful for boss fights, because the cherry bomb is a really effective special weapon. Going to collect Moo Moo E, and then we're going to go down here and pick up a Roman candle. Which is, as some people may know, it's a firework. But in this case, it's a laser beam. Ooh. So when we're jumping around, we want to be careful not to bonk on something, because it'll eat our jump and we'll fall to our death. So, like then, nearly, just happened again. So ideally, you just want to be careful when you're moving around and jumping. And there you go. That's 2-1 done. So as you saw there, we collected a couple weapons. Obviously, we've got the cherry bomb, we've got the Roman candle. And then, yeah, so they'll be used for the upcoming boss fight. With 2-2, it's a bit of a maze level, but it's pretty much a linear path that you can take. We might get an extra weapon here, but it won't be really necessary, to be honest. But let's see what we get.
Let's go.
Nope, no weapon. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, so...
Very good.
But yeah, let me talk a bit more about Jumping Flash. So, as I mentioned, we're going against the evil Captain Kabuki on this one. There is another villain that's sort of behind the scenes, who's basically asking for our help in this game, who was the main villain of the first game. I forgot his name. I'm going to call him Dr. Evil for the purpose of this explanation. But basically, Dr. Evil was the main villain in the first game, and the Moo-Moos were actually the evil sort of henchmen. In this game, we're saving the Moo-Moos, because the evil, well, the Dr. Evil is saying, help, help, help. I need someone to help me be saved by this other evil person. So, yeah, it's a funny one, really. He does betray us later, of course. And then we don't see him ever again, because in this franchise there are 4 games. We do see him in Pocket Moo Moo, but that's not really a proper Jumping Flash game, to be fair. That's like a Pocket Station game. But in Jumping Flash 3, we don't see him at all.
Excellent.
So it's a strange one, he just disappears. But in Jumping Flash 2, there are actually 2 storylines, which are pretty much the same thing. But the extra storyline is that you find out that this Dr. Evil betrayed you and lied to you, and now he's going to team up with Captain Kabuki to go against you, and then you do the same game again with some modified levels. So we're on to this second boss here. It's got a weak spot on its belly button here, so we're going to just try and bounce on it. There we go. Not too bad, not too bad. Let's look at this beautiful cane stick.
Excellent.
Beautiful, isn't it? But yeah, that's the second boss done. Yeah, so there's 4 games in the franchise. There's Jumping Flash 1, Jumping Flash 2. Jumping Flash 3 is known as Robert Mon in Japan. And that's because it was only released in Japan, Jumping Flash 3, which is a bit of a shame because it's actually quite fun. It's different to Jumping Flash 1 and 2. As in, like, it's got missions that you do instead of just the same thing every time. So it's something worth checking out if you're interested in what this game is all about. Right into World 3-1 again. We're reset for the cherry bomb. We're going to move over here to grab Moo Moo number 1, or Moo Moo letter, whatever letter it is, I don't know, E. Sometimes they're in the wrong positions when we go for them, like sometimes we'll get letter X for some reason, you know. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to jump up here. I'm going to do a bit of awkward jumping here. That is not the jump I wanted to do. That's fine. I'm going to jump up here anyway. Going to do a backwards jump here. Hopefully get onto the sledge here. Move backwards. Pick up that Moo Moo. Walk forward. And then we'll go get number 3 over here. And then we're going to do a bit of a jump down here onto the right. Not too long, not too long. There we go. That way it gives me more time to maneuver around so I can turn around like that. And then we'll go to the exits. So a lot of these levels, if you know the route, of course, it's very fast-paced, but if you're playing this casually, it can take a while. Because you have to go exploring, you have to go find the Moo-Moos, but there's a lot more to each level than what I do. Like, there's a lot more map, basically, so, you know, feel free to explore it, you know, it's a lot of fun. World 3-2, we've got to be careful when we start this level. We want to immediately turn right and then do a long jump to the platform. If we move forward at the start, we'll fall off, and then we'll have to climb back up, and it takes a few seconds to do that. I'm going to do 2 high jumps up here. Just there. I don't want to bounce on him, ideally. Ideally, we don't want to bounce on any enemy, because we won't get our full set of jumps back. We'll only get our boost jumps. So, I want to be a little bit careful where we land sometimes. Whoa, that was close. I nearly fell off. I don't want to do that. But yeah, this level can be a little bit scary in the speedrun, just because there's a lot of jumping constantly happening. So, I'm going to pick up X. We're going to pick up X, I said. There we go. I'm going to jump to this pillar here. I'm going to do a really long jump. There we go. Now, you have to do a long jump there. You're going to die. Gonna pick up the last Moo Moo here. Go to the exit quickly.
Excellent.
62 seconds, it's fine. Ideally I was open for 60 seconds, but I think we bounced on one of the enemies earlier, so I think we need to, yeah, go a little bit faster next time. But I'm not going for a PB in this run. If this PBs, I'd be surprised. But we're not going for a PB in this run. So, we're on to World 3-3. This boss is a little bit unique because it has the ability to regenerate HP. We're going to try and knock it down to its threshold for it to regenerate, which should do it in a second. There we go. So when it starts raining, that's when it starts regenerating. Now we're going to try and land on its plant pot this time. There we go. Oh, that was a really good fight, actually. So those twisters that we picked up were like a sort of shotgun blast attack, basically. And pretty much nearly all of them hit the boss, which I'm a little bit shocked at. So this run's actually pretty good. It's good enough to potentially PB still this run. But yeah, moving on. World 3-3 done. We're pretty much at the halfway point of this game. But as as I've mentioned before, I believe I played this game. I played Jumping Flash 1 on the demo disc. I didn't play Jumping Flash 2, but it's the same game pretty much. So, but I played it so much on the demo discs, and I really wanted to play it growing up. Funny enough, it got released on the PlayStation Network, which is nice. So I got that. Obviously, I played through it. And then, of course, many years later, I decided to start learning it as part of a 12-hour speedrun challenge I did back in 2020 or 2021, I can't remember. So we're going to do a bit of a momentum jump there. Going to fall down here and just quickly jump up. Just grab this moo. I'm going to turn around here. We're going to go to this higher platform here, which means that we can just walk off and collect this moo. No problem there.
Almost done.
If you use the other platform, then it'll be a little bit slower. But yeah, I highly recommend checking this game out, whether it's on an emulator or if for some reason you own a copy of this game, yeah, go for it. I would say that getting a copy of this game is really hard. I do own the PAL copies of Jumping Flash 1 and 2. But you can run the PAL version. There's nothing wrong with that, because obviously it's all in game time anyway, and it doesn't really affect which version you play. Some people play the Japanese version, some people play NTSC, some play PAL. But I'd say for a better experience, especially with the frame rate drops for this game, I would certainly play the NTSC version or the JP version. So we're into 4-2. It's similar to 2-2, where it's a bit of a mazy level, but obviously we know the route, so it's fine. Now, we're hoping for a little bit of good RNG here from one of the enemies to drop us any weapon, basically. It doesn't matter which weapon. A Roman candle would be nice, but it doesn't have to drop that. Otherwise, we may be in trouble. Because ideally, we want a Roman candle because it's a far better weapon, so otherwise the power orbs is the alternate weapon that we want. These TVs are in the way, that's a bit unfortunate. That kind of ruins the run a little bit more there. But yeah, we're going to go into this underwater section here. Just going to watch out for these fish because they can body block us. In this case, he's quite nice today. Thank you very much, Piranha. No, bad fish. Oh, bad fish, he knocked me again. So we're going to ignore those power orbs there. Ugh. We're hoping to get this weapon dropped from this enemy. There's a lot of jumping around on this for sure. That's why it's called Jumping Flash. Nope, no weapon. That's a bit of a shame. So we're going to have to pick up the spare Roman candle near the exit. But yeah, these TVs have been a bit of a pain so far. But yeah, getting the last moo, and then we're going on to one of the more annoying boss fights. The spider boss, which has a bit of a rubbish thing to it, really. Basically, if you start moving at the start of the fight, it puts itself into a really awkward position. I don't know why, but it's like the game, you're forcing it to do one of its attacks when you do it, when you go for it at the start, so it's really strange. So, I'm going to go around this corner and pick up this Roman candle, do a U-turn, and then go to the exit.
Excellent.
That's fine, all things considered. It's a little bit of time lost there, because we didn't pick up the power orbs earlier, so we had to rely on some RNG. But hey, what's a speedrun without RNG, right? So at the start of this fight, we're going to shoot, but we're not going to move, basically. So we're going to hold down square, and then we're going to just wait until the spiders just move for a few seconds.
Here we go.
That should be fine. There we go.
Here we go. Here you go.
Nice, that's good. That's really good, that fight, actually. So you can see then it was going onto the ceiling.
Excellent.
Obviously, we don't want it to do that. But if you do enough high jumps and you do enough damage just with the other weapons, you'll kill it just as it's going on the ceiling, which is pretty much the best way to do this fight. Moving on to World 5, which is the sort of roller coaster circus world. It's pretty cool. Boss fight, not so cool. Boss fight's a little bit annoying in this one. We'll get to that in a little while. But yeah, again, as always, we're going to reset. And we're going to just get our cherry bomb back, just so we can use that for later. So this level has a few roller coasters on it, which we're going to use. So we'll jump to this blue building here, jump to this green platform over here, and then jump over to the roller coaster over here, which lets us go bolting at the speed of sound all the way around, round we go, but then we just jump off here. It's a little bit underwhelming, really, this roller coaster, but it's fun. There's a flying kiwi there. It's always adorable to see the kiwis in this game, isn't it? So now we're going to go onto the roller coaster again, round and round we go. Then we're going to jump right next to the power orbs, and then jump 2 high jumps. Roman candle's fine, I guess. Not the weapon I was expecting. I should have grabbed that moo.
Another save.
That's fine. A little bit of time loss though. So it's fine if we grab that Roman candle there. Normally we don't, but it means I'd have to grab another weapon later, which is fine. Because ideally I'm going to want a Roman candle, because it's just the better weapon to use.
Excellent.
And then we're done with 5-1. But like in my personal opinion, out of all these special weapons, the Roman candle and cherry bombs definitely top tier. Cherry bomb just because it's a high blast radius, but Roman candle because it's a constant attack and it's good to go with your main sort of square attack. So
Let's go.
I'm gonna go onto this cannon up here. Jump to the right here. We're gonna do a really long jump here to try and get the moo, hopefully. 1, 2. There we go.
Very good.
It's a bit of an awkward jump this when you first try it. It's easier to get back because you're in a higher position anyway. So we're going to bounce on him. Oh, maybe not, I guess. Going to fall down. Grab this secondary Roman candle. Grab the helicopter here. Or the plane.
Another
I
save.
don't know why I called it a helicopter. I should know aircraft at this point, especially if I live next to an airport. I'm going to jump up onto these daggers. I'm going to wait for the moo to come back on its trapeze.
Almost done.
I'm going to jump backwards. I'm going to do a long jump to the cards over here. Oh, I'm going to have to wait till this one jumps again. Thank you.
That's all.
There we go. And we're going to fall down straight to the exit.
Excellent.
Easy peasy. But yeah, we're getting very close to the end of the game now. What can I talk about then? So we've talked about all the other games in the franchise. I've mentioned before as well, it's the first full 3D platformer. So there's been a lot of 3D games in the past. As we get into this double boss here, which has 2 bosses. We're going to focus on the yellow one. Going to use the Roman candle. Is it going to spin? No, he's not going to spin. That's good. In fact, I might have to focus for a second. So the reason why we're focusing the yellow one is just because the yellow one is the main actual boss in this one. If that makes sense. That's actually a really good fight. Oh, I'm kind of nervous now.
Excellent.
But yeah, first full 3D platformer ever. There's been a lot of games that have had like 3D elements. But this was quite unique for its time, especially with it being one of the very first sort of PS1 games of the time as well. And then obviously this sprouted a lot of other 3D games, obviously. You know, you have the N64 and everything doing 3D games eventually, with SM64 and all that. It's pretty unique. But it's unique to see stuff like the bullets 3D and everything. That's quite a very special thing for sure. So we're going to try and do a long jump here, but we're going to do a bit of a high jump at the end there to get this first moo. Then we can fall down immediately to grab the second one.
Another save.
Alright, we're going to jump up here. I'm going to try and not get body blocked by you. 2 high jumps to the start. That's a shame. Oh, there's the PB dead. Oh well.
Another try.
Another try indeed. Now, this is a bit of a problem here. We don't have a spare cherry bomb.
Very good.
So I don't know where I'm going. Sorry, my mind was thinking, where's there another weapon? But yeah, because we don't have a spare life right now, you see. And it's very unlikely that we're going to get an extra life from the boss that's coming up, because the boss is quite tough to beat it really quickly. So if you beat a boss really quickly, you get an extra life. But in this case, I don't think we're going to do it in like 15-20 seconds. We can try. I'm going to have to pick up an extra weapon though now, just because if I can't beat it, I'm going to have to reserve that second weapon for later. So we're going to keep that Roman candle for now. Get to hear the music a little bit more until we get the beloved power pill, which is a psychedelic experience. You can run into enemies, they instantly die. It's all a lot of fun. So, not so fun if I fall down though. So let's get to the exit before anything else happens. We have a very, very long jump. Easy peasy.
Excellent.
That's a bit unfortunate because that was probably on pace for PB. Obviously, PB would have been determined based on what these next 2 boss fights would have been like. And these boss fights, they're not good. Especially 6-2, it's not a good fight. It's a very weird one. And you can actually just die in this one as well. So we're going to try and do some high jumps here. We're going to do a really high jump here. Hopefully... Oh, it did that one, that's fine. What's he going to do? What's he going to do? He's doing a spin attack up here. I'm going to have to save this laser for now. Ooh. Can we get it? Can we get it? Yeah, so I have to save one weapon at least because I'm going to need it for the different phase on this boss fight coming up. So, but yeah, we're moving on to the very final boss of the game. We're already there. Got one more fight to do. I'm looking at my recording timer at the moment. It says 22:35. I've got an estimate of 25 minutes. So obviously I'm still under estimate. But let's see if I can be under the recording for the estimate as well. Let's not reset the level like a plonker right now as well. Right, so we're going to bounce on the enemy as always, and not fall down like that. He's going to do some pauses as well, Captain Kabuki. But Captain Kabuki has 3 phases to the boss, which is exactly the same phases as you would get in the final boss of the first game. Because they thought, oh, let's just do the annoying boss from the first game again. Oh dear. He's actually been quite generous right now, so it's pretty good. That's good.
Here you go.
Then we're going to go into phase 3 in a second. Hopefully, without me getting absolutely destroyed. Ooh, that's close. Dead. Oh, and time is coming up in 3, 2, 1. Time. Oh. Oh. But yeah, it's a hell of a run, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. As we get into the final cutscene of the game, which we're going to see Captain Kabuki just blow up into bits, literally. Because, you know, look at these effects. Beautiful then. But yeah, I liked running this. This is great fun. And it's more important to do a run, I think, even if it's an offline run, as a no reset, honestly. So it's just great fun. But yeah, I want to say thank you very much for letting me run this, as well as running not Jumping Flash, as well as running Incredible Crisis earlier on as well. I do appreciate that. So yeah, next up after this, I believe we have the generic bingo, sorry, the NSO generic bingo with Nordic. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But with that, I just want to say a big thank you to myself, yes. But a big shout out to the Jumping Flash community, specifically as well, Joester, who's been so supportive with me with this game in the past. He's still supportive now, just to be clear. But you know, he helped me get into this game. He helped me learn some of the things about it as well. I rely on his speedruns to help me with this game. So, but yeah, with that, I'm going to say thank you very much for letting me run this, and also Incredible Crisis. Hope you enjoyed the rest of the event, everyone, and I will see you later. Bye bye.